Dominique, we're here in the Madras Cafe in Rishikesh, India, and you were just telling me something about adjusting to India. That oftentimes is very difficult for people. So it can be a transforming experience. Can you tell me what you just said?
Actually, you can't really adjust to India, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of going into a place where all your habits, all your usual values, all the ways that you have been conditioned to respond to the world, to respond to others, all of that is irrelevant because it's new rules, it's a new way of being. So we don't really ever find our balance, actually. I've been coming here for 20 years and I never quite find my balance, but what's happening in that is that when we don't settle back into any type of certainty, then that creates a fluidity within us, a sense of a new freedom, maybe. I would say it like that. So actually you don't want to get used to India. You want to enjoy the freedom that you discover by experiencing something new, a new way of being, a new way of responding. And then inherent to India, and especially in places like this, there is a deep, deep wisdom about life. And I mean, that wisdom is everywhere, really. We don't need to come to India for that. But in India, it's quite explicit. It's quite open to speak about it. And many people actually come for that. So there's an energy, like around here. It's 3,000 years of continuous practice, questioning about the nature of reality, the nature of freedom, the nature of love, continuously. You can meet people that are trained in exactly the same way they've been trained 2,000 years ago. The texts are still the same. Now there's more and more added to it, but there's a continuous wisdom here, and we get touched by that too.
Mm-hmm. Why did you come to India? Or why do you come to India?
For that.
And is it always disruptive? Is it always a challenge for you?
The first time it was a really strong challenge. After a week, I decided to go back home. So it's not like that. Now I love that. I love that I don't know anymore. And in that not knowing, something new is being revealed. And so it's the same disruption, but now there's a willingness for it. There's a joy at it. And there's also a saying years after years, but that has nothing to do with India. That's more speaking of spiritual practice. There is progressively a change. We see ourselves different. We respond differently to others. We respond differently to the world. We think differently. We feel differently. And all of that confirms then, oh, I'm on the right track. There's something that is really good that is happening. So that has nothing to do with India. That's looking at how we live, you know. But it seems that for me, India is a very powerful vehicle of that movement.
And do you also experience some challenges readjusting to life back in Switzerland?
It usually takes me a little bit of time, you know, to get back into the intensity, the speed, but I've been doing it back and forth really often, so then you get used. You know that for a little bit of time there's a kind of an adjustment necessary.
Right.
But what I found also is that people that surround me, you know, the friends and families and people I meet or in my work, everybody is looking for the same thing that I look for, which is peace, happiness, harmony. We all look for the same thing. So I meet people at that level here, and I meet people at that level there. And so that is not changing, and the wisdom that is being taught here then can be shared over there, and then the wisdom that is discovered there as well is brought back here, and then there is like a beautiful exchange, and I really love it.
May I ask you what the most painful lesson is that you've learned while you've been in India? If you would mind sharing.
The most painful.
The one that struck you to your core at the most.
I've been struck by many things, but I wouldn't call it painful. It's just the word painful doesn't apply. Okay. There's been some powerful encounters, that deeply touch me. And actually, I'm doing some volunteer work now for a very small organization that offers free care for people dying of cancer. So the name is Ganga Prem. Here, yes. It's based in Rishikesh, and people can volunteer there and actually make donation there. Because there's no care for people dying of cancer in the area, so it's a few years now that this small organization is offering free support. So in that, I meet very intense situations of encountering people that have lives that I cannot comprehend. The power of what they're going through, it's beyond my understanding, and though it's beyond my understanding, there's a possibility to meet them extremely deeply. And that's very touching. That's very powerful. So I wouldn't really. I mean, there is a pain because you feel the pain that they're going through. You feel sometimes the absolute unfairness of what they have to go through, and the powerlessness of. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you can love, and that's tremendous power. But that's very powerful. So there is some pain, but the pain is also bringing maybe more sobriety, and hopefully one day more humility.
Right. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experience here in India.
Thank you for asking.